Sean Hannity's job, and he does it very well. And I say that respectfully. I do think he's very talented at what he does. But I think it's important that we not close ourselves off to the viewpoints of others. That in this age where we're fighting a war against Islamic extremists, which is also a war of ideas, it's important that we understand the ideas of our opponents as well as we understand the ideas of our friends. That, of course, is something Daniel Pearl lost his life trying to do, trying to understand and help all of us understand. Since Daniel Pearl's murder covering wars has changed a lot for reporters, all of us are far more aware we're now targets. When I worked in Sarajevo back in '93 and '94, even though there was constant shelling and the risk of snipers and you would see people getting picked off, you could wake up and kind of see where the day took you. If you were willing to just take a risk, you could wander the streets of the besieged city and find stories at the local water pump or the marketplace or the hospital or wherever you happen to find yourself. Now, of course, in Iraq and Afghanistan, parts of Pakistan, all the things that reporters like to do to really understand a place have become very, very difficult. In Baghdad today, the list of things you can't do is far longer than the list of things you can. And they give you the list as soon as you get there. You can't, of course, eat in a restaurant. You can't see a movie or hail a taxi or go out at night. You can't stroll down a street. You can't stand in a crowd. You can't stand in one spot too long or use the same route or get stuck in traffic. You can't neglect to speak in code when you're using walkie-talkies. You can't go anywhere without armed guards or communication devices or IDs, a Kevlar vest, multi-vehicle convoy. You can never forget you're a target. At the airport in Baghdad, you're met by a squad of bodyguards. CNN, like most major networks, employs its own security forces now. We do this in a lot of war zones. And ours are former British Special Forces officers and former American Special Forces officers. And you drive in a convoy, speeding fast, surrounded by these guys with barrel chests, with necks that are thicker than my thighs, and their machine guns are at the ready. And if you're not careful, you can find yourself trapped in this bubble of security. And the truth is, it's very hard to break out of. Things look different when you're looking at them through bulletproof glass. It's a distorted image, and you have to be aware of that when you're covering a story. You can't allow your own fear, your own insecurity to alter the things you see. I've had the honor of reporting from both Iraq and Afghanistan numerous times, and I've been embedded with the U.S. military as well as operated independently of them. And it's only by seeing a situation from as many different angles as possible that you can truly understand what's happening. Sadly, that the cost of operating in both these countries, in Iraq and Afghanistan, are so great because of security concerns that fewer and fewer media companies are willing to foot the bill. And for many networks, the bureaus dwindle and the stories just go untold. Now that our economy has reached this terrible juncture, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have seemingly disappeared from the headlines, but right now the war in Afghanistan, as I'm sure you know, is at a critical juncture. And next door, the violence in Pakistan has reached alarming new levels. The Pakistan military is now battling the Taliban some 60 miles from Islamabad, and this after years of negotiating and making peace deals with militants. In the last several months in Afghanistan and Pakistan, we've seen a new strategy, small groups of Taliban attacking government installations, creating havoc with just a handful of people, some grenades and AK-47s. It's the same strategy we saw in Mumbai over Thanksgiving, and the fact that a place like Kabul and many parts of Pakistan are no longer secure is just one of the